This morning, when I was walking down the path, I really had the realization that this whole spiritual journey could be wrapped up in one phrase, really, and that is being true to the person that God, my higher power, created me to be and is guiding me to be. I think I can put that better when I say that if I do these things, I will know peace. And it's a peace that comes because I'm in sync with that mission. When I'm not in sync with that mission, I'm, as we say, restless, irritable, and discontent. I can't look at the world the same way I look at it now. I find myself being, a little paranoid, if you will. I just am not at peace. So, what is this stuff all about? This being at peace, being true to yourself. You know, we've heard that phrase has been around ever since Sophocles or somebody, I don't know, it goes way back when, about the fact is that we really have a mission and we need to be true to that mission. And that mission is to know, to love, and to serve God as we understand Him. And to be as close as we possibly can in this particular plane while we're in the process of doing that. So, you know, every year I try to have a theme. I don't make New Year's resolutions, but I try to have some kind of a theme that guides me for the year. And this year, my theme that I just sort of came to me one morning is no expectations, practice acceptance, and let life teach me one day at a time. These things really help me a lot. If I can just get out of my mind the way things are supposed to be in terms of my personal interests and stay open to what God wants them to be, it makes a big difference in my life. And so the getting rid of expectations and practicing acceptance of what is brings about a lot of peace. It really does. And the last point, I think, gets the whole point of being teachable, staying teachable. If there's one thing you probably have picked up by now, and that is that I've had a lot of very good teaching moments in this spiritual journey. Managerial grid, marriage encounter, all kinds of things have opened my eyes and helped me really take a good long look at who I am and what I'm like, and then to look at where I want to be. And that's, if I do that, then I can make spiritual progress. I can make progress towards that goal, that mission that I've got. So, to me, being true to yourself means constantly taking a look. How am I doing? Now, we call that taking an inventory, you know. Just like when I used to be in the shoe business, we'd take an inventory once a year of all the shoes we had in stock and make sure that all the shoes that are supposed to be there were there, and we could account for those that weren't. And, you know, it's a very important aspect of business, is taking inventory. And it's a very important aspect of our lives, too. We can take inventories right on the spot. If something's going wrong, then just stop and say, what is it? What's disturbing me right now? What is it? What is happening right now that's creating these problems for me? And take a look at them right there on the spot. A lot of us practice daily inventory, where we take a look at the end of the day and see how have we done today? You know, were we kind to people? Did we adhere to our principles? What kind of a day did I have today? And sort of go down a little checklist about how was my performance today. And then, of course, periodically I find it necessary to do a very thorough inventory, like I did with Marriage Encounter and with the Managerial Grid. So that's the whole idea, is to be true to ourselves. Now, just a real quick little teaching thing again with I'll put my teacher's hat back on. One of the reasons that I believe this really works for me is because of what they call my personal style. Carl Gustav Jung many years ago developed an approach to looking at personalities and personal styles, how we relate to the world and people in it. And he came up with 4 pairs of alternatives for each one of these areas. And they're very interesting and they've been very helpful to me over the years. I'm an INFP. Well, what does that mean? It means I'm an introvert. It means that I'm a feeler, and it means that I am a perceiver. Well, what are those things? Well, an introvert isn't somebody who just sits around and is shy and bashful. Any of you that know me know that I'm not very shy or bashful. But an introvert is a person who looks to build their energy from inside. They get energy internally from themselves. They need quiet, they need silence, they need peace, I need meditation to build my energy. Intuitive simply means that we are big picture people. We look at the total picture, we try to assess what's going on, look at all the pieces and see how do they relate to each other, how do they fit. Feeling means simply that we are people who are not necessarily over emotional, but that we have the ability, and our preferences are to be able to look at things in terms of values. What does this mean? What's the rights and wrongs of things, as opposed to being logical, which is analytical. Feelers are not necessarily analytical. They more look for bigger meanings. And then finally, perceivers are people that are open to things. That's compared to judges. Judges are people who sort of make up their minds and say, this is the way it is. Perceivers, I say perceiver stands for perhaps, procrastinate, possible, all those things. Because perceivers are constantly saying, well, maybe we ought to consider this. Maybe we ought to look at that. They're very open. So if I look at myself and I look at where I'm at today in my spiritual journey, I can see that these are things that help me. But don't be mistaken. These are things that help me, but you have personal styles too, just as much as I do. And they may be opposite of mine. It doesn't make any difference. It's knowing who you are and what you are and using your strengths to help you accomplish your mission. This has been a wonderful journey for me, and I continue to go one day at a time to see what life will teach me, to stay teachable. And as long as I have that open mind, as long as I'm looking for God in all I do, I'm not going to worry about it too much. He's provided very, very well for me and my wife and I in our lives, and I think he'll continue. So, and it doesn't matter. I know that no matter what, I'll be okay. So I hope this little insight as to our spiritual journey, and really emphasizing the fact that we need to stay teachable and we need to be looking at ourselves. I had a very good friend of mine, my best friend probably, say to me one day, Jim, why are you so introspective? Why are you always taking a look at what you do and why you do it? And I couldn't explain that to him other than to say, friend, I find it necessary in my life to continually assess where I am, where I want to be, and to see what I need to do to get there. And that's the story of my spiritual journey. I hope it helps you. Thanks much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.